The following program has been rated PG-13.
Shalom, Israel. Giving honor and praise to the Most High God on this Friday night Sabbath. And I want to thank you again. I want to thank my family. Thank you for tuning in and joining me on these Friday night Sabbaths as we go over this word. All right. There's really nothing better than getting the Sabbath started off right with this word so that we can take that throughout the rest of the week. Now, we are going to be discussing Sodom and Gomorrah, that taboo topic that no one really likes to get into, but we are going to break that barrier. We are going to go deep inside Sodom and Gomorrah, and we're going to break this down so that we can get a full understanding of what Sodom and Gomorrah is truly all about. All right, so the very first thing, you already know what I want you to do. I want you to open your Bibles to the 1611 King James Version Bible with the Apocrypha. All right, we are going to be reading Genesis 19. Now, I don't want to waste any time. I just want to go ahead and jump right into this, and let's go ahead and get started because we got a lot of ground to cover. And believe me when I tell you, it's some really good ground. Some very, very good ground. Okie doke. So starting off, Genesis chapter 19. And it reads, first, before I start, let's give a little background on this. So, Genesis 19 is the story of Lot and his family. Now, who's Lot? Lot is the nephew of Abraham, our forefather. The nephew of Abraham. And what's happening right now is that there are two angels visiting the city of Sodom where Lot actually lives. And they're going directly to Lot's house. All right, so I just wanted to give you that little history so we can go ahead and pick up on here so you know what's going on. So let's go ahead and start. Genesis chapter 19, verse 1. And there came two angels to Sodom at even. Even means evening. And Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. Now, I want to point something out here really fast. Now, here you have two heavenly hosts. And they came down, and as Lot approached them, just like every other account, whenever one of us come into a heavenly host, we fall with our face down. Not backwards, like the Christian church does when they come and they hit him in the head and they so-called catch the Holy Ghost or whatever. That is contradictory to what the Bible says. The Bible says that in the presence of the heavenly host or a Holy Spirit, you fall face down, not backwards and convulse. That's demonic. The Bible describes that as being demonic. All right, verse 2. And he said, Behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night. Now, tarry means to fall back, to sit back and chill, take a load off. And wash your feet. Now, it was customary back then when there was a righteous household. That was considered a house of the Most High. So before you can bring any dirt in there, you got to wash your feet off because you are stepping on holy ground. Now, as you can see how righteous Lot is, because he's telling the heavenly host, he's telling the angels, listen, y'all got to wash your feet before you come in here. This is holy ground. So I want y'all to understand that Lot was a righteous man. And ye shall rise up early and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night. So let's break this down a little bit. So what's happening? So Lot is telling the angels, listen, y'all come in, y'all chill, take a load off. But the angel said, no. That's what nay means. It means no. They said, we got some business to attend to in them streets. We got to hit the streets. Verse 3. And he pressed upon them greatly, And they turned in unto him and entered into his house, and he made them a feast and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. So the angels went ahead and they gave in to him. They're like, all right, whatever, lot. So he brought them in the house, and I want y'all to understand something. What just happened afterwards? The angels ate. So yes, angels do eat. And I'm sure God eats too. But what is the main thing right here? A lot of this probably went over a lot of your heads. What did he feed them? He fed them unleavened bread. Now, as we just recently learned here last month, unleavened bread is served during what time? During a Passover. But Israel is not born yet. Israel isn't born yet. Israel isn't born. Jacob isn't born until Genesis 25. We're in Genesis 19. Remember that. Keep that in mind. Verse 4. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. So now what's happening? So the two angels came, they went to Lot's house. Now, of course, this had to have been a grand spectacle because all the men from Sodom and of Gomorrah and little neighboring towns, all the men from all quarters, it said, came to the house. All the men, mind you, all the men. Let's find out why. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came into thee this night? So now they're approaching Lot's house, and they're calling out to Lot, where are those men at? Where are those dudes? Where are those men that came in here? And they all saw them. Bring them out unto us that we may know them. So now, what know means here, know does not mean like bring them out so they can extend their hand. Hey, I'm Charlie. How you doing, angels? No. They're saying, bring the men out here that we may know them. So, I don't want you to take my word for it. We are going to get the definition of know in these scriptures. I want you to go to Genesis chapter 4, verse 1. Genesis chapter 4, verse 1. It gives us the answer. Precept. And Adam knew Adam knew Eve, his wife. And she conceived and bare Cain and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. What does know mean, Israel? It means sex. So now when we go back to Genesis chapter 19, and we go down to verse 5, I'm going to read it again now that we have the definition. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came in to thee this night? Bring them out unto us that we may know them. So do you see the spirit right now that is surrounding the area? Do you see what spirit hit up Sodom and Gomorrah and all the little surrounding cities? All the quarters, as the scriptures say. And there was this horrible sodomite spirit on the men of this area. They wanted to rape the angels. Brothers, let's talk for a second. How crazy is that? I want you to imagine this. Now, as you already know, there's so many of us, because of the stories that we hear about in prison, that keeps us on the straight and narrow. We're like, yo, I'm not going to prison. And because of that particular reason there, because we are not wanting to deal with getting raped in prison. Can you imagine every man from every quarter, all of your surrounding neighborhoods, all the cats from your hood, all the cats from the other hoods that's coming to and that surrounds your crib, trying to get you to come out to rape you. That's insanity. That's crazy. That's crazy as hell. That is I don't give a damn what you say. That is a scary, scary situation right there, man. Verse 6. And Lot went out at the door unto them and shut the door after him. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Lot is a gangster. Lot is gangster. I'm telling you, that took bravery for him to go outside and be like, and for him to go outside in that type of atmosphere. Verse 7, listen to what he said. And said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. So now Lot is going outside telling him he's facing all these brothers that's out there right now that's trying to get into the house to rape these angels. This horrible sodomite spirit. And I want y'all to understand how strong this spirit is. It's going to explain it. But he's saying, why y'all being so wicked? Come on, man. Verse 8. Behold now. I really want y'all to pay attention to this. Behold now. I have 2 daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. So let's go ahead and break this down here a little bit. So what's happening? I want you to pick up on what Lot did. I want you to remember this, keep this, register this. Lot said, yo, listen, I don't know what y'all problem is, but I got 2 daughters that I will gladly bring out here to you, and you can do to them whatever you want to. I want you to remember this here with Lot, with his daughters. Okay, remember that. He offered up his daughters. But you have to understand the seriousness of this matter. Lot said, listen, y'all can have my daughters, but these 2 men that's up in here, these 2 heavenly hosts, they up under my roof. You ain't touching them. And I want y'all to understand here with Lot, how serious Lot is. Lot is like, yo, listen, y'all can have my daughters, but y'all not touching these men up in here. Y'all not touching these angels. Why? Because Lot knew what these angels are all about. These are heavenly hosts. And Lot surrendered his own daughters to make so that those men were in touch. As you can see the hierarchy there. The men were up here and the daughters were here. He's like, nah, you ain't touching these daughters. Excuse me, you're not touching these men. Take the daughters, but you ain't touching these men. All right, verse 9. Pick up on this. And they said, now these are the men that's outside, and they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Now we will deal worse with thee. Thee means you. Listen to what these men said. Now we will deal worse with thee. We're going to deal worse with you than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. Do you understand what's going on out here? Those men said, listen, Lot, listen, get back, stand back. And if you don't bring the men out here, we are going to rape you worse than what we plan on doing to them. Do y'all understand oh my God, do y'all understand the severity behind this here? Can you imagine yourself being in Lot's situation right now? They threatening to rape him. A whole bunch of men. I don't know, fellas. I don't know about y'all, man, but hell nah. And I want to read this part here again. Even Lot and came near to break the door. So now you have to understand this aggressive spirit that they have. They're talking about raping him and banging the door down to get to the men. This is that aggressive spirit of Sodom. And that's what I want y'all to keep in mind here. That aggressive, rebellious, disgusting spirit. Verse 10. But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them and shut the door. And so now, what's going on? So now, the angels have to go outside and reach and grab Lot and say, pull him to get your ass in his house. Because those angels knew what they were going up against. This is why the angels said, we need to hit them streets. This is why they did not want to wait. This is why they did not want to tarry. They were going out there to handle business. But Lot, being the person that he was or whatever, he pressed against them. But them angels knew that they had business to come handle. They wanted to hit them streets, and that's why. Verse 11. And they smote the men. Now we learned what smote was before. That means to hit them hard or to kill. But in this reference right here is talking about hitting them hard. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. Now I want you to pick up on that too. The angels went ahead and blinded these men, smote them. And even in their blindness, they're sitting and they're reaching around and beating the door blind. Blind, they can't see. And they still trying to get in the house to rape these two angels. Do you understand the level of that sodomite spirit? It's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. Verse 12. And the men said unto Lot, hast thou here any besides son-in-law, and thy sons, and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place. So now what are the angels saying? So now the angels saying to Lot, listen, who do you have? Where's all your family? Gather them up and get them out of this city. You're going to find out why. But I want you to pay attention to the son-in-laws. Register that. Here's why the angel tell them get out. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxen. Waxen means clear. And who is he talking about? The cry of these men. The spirit, the sodomite spirit is very clear to the Most High. Now I'm going to start from the beginning. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxen great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us to destroy it. So, what is the Most High going to destroy? He's going to destroy the city of Sodom and Gomorrah and the little surrounding places. Why? Because the intention, the evil in these people are very, very clear. Waxen, he said. Clear to the Most High. And the Most High is like, okay, I'm taking this out. Verse 14. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. So what's happening now? So now Lot is trying to get them out of the city, but the son-in-laws are mocking him. They're not only mocking him, but now they're mocking the Most High. Why are they mocking the Most High? The Most High gave Lot instructions, and he told them to get them out. The angels told Lot to tell the sons-in-laws, whatever, get out of the city. So what's happening? They're not taking it serious. The Most High shall not be mocked. And again, pay attention to the sons-in-laws. You're going to find out why. Verse 15. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot. Hasten means to hurry them up. Tell them, let's go. Hurry up. They're trying to speed him up. I'm going to read it again. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, arise, take thy wife and thy two daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. stop. So now, who did the angels instruct Lot to take out now? The daughters and the wife. Now, didn't it say here that Lot had sons-in-laws, right? Why did they leave them out? Because they mocked the Most High. So what did they do? They sealed their fate. You don't mock the Most High. When they went ahead and did that, the Most High said, leave them niggas there. Okay. You are going to die in this iniquity. You're going to burn. That's why for many of you out there, you better not be mocking the Most High. Because when you do that, you seal your fate. Verse 16. And while he lingered, now you see that he's lingering. What does it mean to linger? It means to stay behind. Now, what are the angels doing? It said that the angels hastened them. He's trying to hurry up and get them out of there. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand and upon the hand of his wife and upon the hand of his two daughters, the Lord being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth and set him without the city. So now the angels had to physically grab their hands. It was like, let's go. Y'all are taking too long. You're lingering. You're playing. We have something to do. We are trying to destroy this city. And they sitting there playing around. But it said that the Most High had mercy on Lot. Why? Because Lot was a righteous man. And we're going to get more into that here in a little bit about that mercy. Verse 17. And it came to pass when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, escape for thy life. Escape for thy life. He telling them, run, get out of here. Run for your life. Look not behind thee. Remember that. Many of you already know what that is there, but he's telling them, run for your life and don't look behind you. Neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain. There's those mountains again that we always talk about. Those mountains. Our place of safety. And the Most High told him, go to the mountains, lest thou be consumed. If you don't go to the mountains, you are going to be consumed by that fire that's coming. What does that sound like, Israel? That sounds just like the last days, doesn't it? Now, I always tell you that the Most High always has precursors. He'll always show you the trailer before you get to the big event. He does it all throughout the Bible. Here it is. The very first account of it. And Lot said unto them, oh, not so, my Lord. Because what is he saying no about? He don't want to go to the mountains. He's afraid to go to the mountains. And he's saying, I'm not going to the mountains. Verse 19, behold now, thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast shewed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. So Lot was like, look, I'm not going to the mountains. Now, the Most High, or he already showed me mercy. So I already know you. Listen, I'm not going to the mountains. All right. I know I'm righteous. I'm not going to those mountains. Let's see what else happens. Verse 20. Behold now, this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live. So now Lot is saying, listen, let me go ahead and go to this little city over there. All right, I got mercy with the Most High. Let me go to this little city. I don't want to go to the mountains though. Verse 21. And he said unto him, see, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city for the which thou hast spoken. So now the Most High is again showing this righteous man favor. All right, you know what? I'm not going to go ahead. I'm not going to overthrow that city. Go ahead and go to that little city there, being that you requested it. And this right here is another thing of you have not because you ask not. Verse 22. Haste thee. Tell him, hurry up. Escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou become thither. So he's telling them, like, listen, hurry up. And as you can see, what these angels have been trying to do from the beginning, they were making haste. Telling Lot, listen, man, hurry up and get to your business so that we can get to ours. I'm going to read it again. Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou become thither. He said, I can't do nothing until you're gone. Therefore, the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. So now this is where the Christian church usually stops. And they won't go any further past this here. Just to show you, because they want to make their point about sodomy being a sin, and which it is. But they focus more on the physical and not the spiritual. So we are going to get into the spiritual part. We are going to continue to read further because we're going to get this. And we're not going to be like that Christian church. We're going to dive in and we are going to unlock what's in this Bible. Verse 25. And he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities. He killed everybody. He killed all the plains. He burned it all up. Just like the last days that's coming. And that which grew upon the ground. He killed the crops. He killed all the trees, all the plains, and the people. Verse 26. You sisters better pay very, very close attention. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. Gotta put this down for a second. Sisters, we gotta have a talk. Now, so many people will read that part right there, and I've actually seen debates on what that actually meant, where the sister here was turned into a pillar of salt. But why was she turned? We'll get into the whole pillar of salt thing here in a second. But why was she turned into a pillar of salt? Because she was a disobedient wife, a disobedient child of the Most High. The Most High gave her simple instructions. Don't turn around. But what does she do? She goes right ahead and turn around, and the Most High took her out like that. So sisters, why am I going to talk to you about this here? Because now a lot of you have your kings in that house. Queen, you have your king. And some of you will actually try to get your king to go against what the Most High said. So I want you to understand the situation that you put yourself in, to where the Most High is like, I'm about to take her out. Y'all better be careful. Let your king lead. Let him do what he's supposed to do. Follow your king, because your king is supposed to be following Christ. That's what you're supposed to do. Follow your king. Do what the man says. Okay? If your king says, we are not having no birthday parties for your kids, that is what the king said. Why? Because that's what the Most High said. We are not to be celebrating any birthdays. When your king says, we are not going to that event on the Sabbath because we are going to have to spend money, and we know that breaks the law of the Sabbath. Listen to what your king says. Now, behind the whole science of this here, the whole great debate of this woman turned into a pillar of salt. This is very easy. This is not difficult. Your body is made up of salt water. Your body is made up of electrolytes. That's all that is. The Most High vaporized her and left her in a pile of electrolytes on the floor. There's no science behind that. That's what happened. He vaporized her and turned her into a pillar of salt. That makes all the sense in the world, doesn't it? All right, let's go back. Verse 27. And Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord. And he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the plain, and beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace. So now Lot is sitting here looking in the distance, whatever, and seeing this everything just burnt up. All the smoke and everything rising. Can you imagine the smell that was out there? Verse 29, and it came to pass when God destroyed the cities of the plain that God remembered Abraham. Remember, that's Lot's uncle. And sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow when he overthrew the cities in the which Lot dwelt. And Lot went up out of Zoar. I want y'all to pay attention to this. And Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountain. And his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar. And he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. Why do I want y'all to pay attention to that part? Because remember, the angels told Lot, go to the mountains. Lot didn't want to go to the mountains. But because the Most High had favor, because Lot had favor with the Most High said, all right, go where you want to go right now. But what was the will of the Most High? The will of the Most High was for Lot and his daughters to go to those mountains. The will of God will always be done. Because now what did the Most High do? He put a spirit of fear on Lot. So now he's running from Zoar and going to them caves. I'm telling you, the will of the Most High will always be done. All right, now, verse 31. So before we go there, now, who's left out of everybody? Remember, there was a big household in the beginning. But now it's down to Lot and his 2 daughters. This here is the part that I want you guys to really focus in and start to pick up on. This is where it starts to get crazy. All right. Verse 31. Now remember, they're in a cave. It's just Lot and his daughters. Here we go. Verse 31. And the firstborn said unto the younger, our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. This is going to get a little creepy. But you have the older daughter that's telling the younger daughter, listen, there's no other men. Now, what happened? These women were married, remember? Because the 2 son-in-laws were killed because they mocked the Most High. So now the daughter is saying, well, there's no other men around. I think you know where it goes from here, but I want you to understand that the Most High has a plan for everything that he does. So I'm going to read that again. And the firstborn said unto the younger, our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. Verse 32. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. Now, you got to understand something here. A lot of people tried to explain this like Lot was a part of this incest. He wasn't. They got him drunk. They got him blasted. And the firstborn told the younger one that we are going to lay, meaning have sex with our father, so that they can be impregnated. All right? And here it is. I'm going to read 33. And they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he perceived not, meaning he did not know what was going on because they got him towed up. And he perceived not when she laid down, nor when she arose. So they tore him up pretty good. Verse 34. And it came to pass on the morrow, so it means the next day, that the firstborn said unto the younger, Behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. So now the older sister telling younger sister, now it's your turn. All right, we're going to get him tore up again. And now you're going to go lay with him tonight. Verse 35. And they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. So they got him towed up good again. Verse 36. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. Pay attention to that part. It's about to come up. And the firstborn bare a son and called his name Moab. The same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. I want you to understand that part. Because Moab are today the Chinese. And as you see right here, as the scriptures say, they are still the very same people. Verse 37. Verse 38. And the younger, she also bare a son, and called his name Benami. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. Remember, this is a prophetic book. The children of Ammon are the Japanese. Now, this is going to start to click here for a lot of you. But we need a precept. I want you to go to Ecclesiastes, because remember, we got to back up everything that we say. Everything that comes out of these scriptures has to be backed up with a precept. I want you to go to Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 16. Now remember, we just read here that it said that these same people are the very same people today, right? Here we go. Verse 16. There is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. And I want you to understand that part. Surely this also is vanity and vexation of spirit. Vanity and vexation of spirit. What type of spirit was it in Sodom and Gomorrah? Vain, vanity, and vexation of spirit. Now, we got to get some definitions here. We are going to get the definition of vexation. Vexation. The state of being annoyed, frustrated, or worried. Was that spirit not on Sodom and Gomorrah? That very, very spirit. That evil, dirty spirit. And as you see, it said there's no end to all the people. Now, little explanation time here. How do we know that these are the Chinese and the Japanese? Well, of course, through history, and the Bible actually tells you. But what did the Most High do? It's very, very simple. Now, with a father and a daughter, that's two very similar strands of DNA. Now, when two similar strands of DNA get together and they intertwine and they produce a child, something happens. There is a physical thing that happens when a father lays with a daughter or a mother lays with a son or siblings lay with each other. It produces something called Down syndrome, which contorts the face. It hits the eyes and the cheekbones. That is what the Most High did to show that these are still the Chinese and the Japanese. And they started mixing with the Mongols. But those eyes gave it away. So if you took a picture of a Moabite or an Ammonite and you put it directly with a person with Down syndrome, you will see the resemblance. That is what the Most High did to mark those individuals. If you don't believe it, trust me. When I tell you by the end of this lesson, you're going to see it. You should believe it right now because it is a physical defect that the Most High put on those people. He knew what he was doing. He knew what purpose they were going to serve. So now we're going to get into some things right now. Right now, let me ask you a question. This whole coronavirus thing, right? This whole coronavirus. Where did the U.S. say this originated from? China. Now, for those of you that don't know, this coronavirus, COVID-19, has a U.S. patent. It was created here in America, but the Chinese are being blamed. Now, you have to remember, we always talk about crafty counsel, right? We always talk about crafty counsel. And in the past, we talked about the allegiance of, I'm trying to remember what lesson that was. It was the Pledge of Allegiance. If you haven't seen that one, go back and watch that one if you haven't seen it. But Moab and Edom, they've always been hand in hand. Always, always, always. They always have. And remember, this is crafty counsel. Now, in the very beginning of this whole COVID-19 pandemic, how many so-called African Americans were being reported? None. The answer is none. But now it's in the media. The African Americans, that their numbers are rising. But why? Who are the African Americans? The so-called African Americans. The tribe of Judah. So now that's starting to affect us. I told y'all when this whole first thing started, this whole pandemic, I said in those earlier coronavirus videos that I did, they were going to target us. Lo and behold, here we are. Now it's in the news that our numbers are coming up. So what does all that have to do with anything? I'm getting ready to show you. I want you to go to Jeremiah chapter 25, and we're going to go to verse 21. Jeremiah chapter 25 and verse 21. I'm going to show you the relationship between Edom and Moab has always been there. Always. And the plan is always to go against you. Now, right here, I just want to start this off. Edom, Moab, and the children of Ammon. You see that right there, right? Now, do you see how this is going to actually go ahead and start to tie back? You're going to see how this is going to tie back to Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, I want you to go to the book of Daniel, chapter 11, and we're going to read Daniel chapter 11, go down to verse 41. Now, as you saw there in Jeremiah, that those two have a relationship. The Most High always puts them together. And here we go. Verse 41, he shall enter also into the glorious land, and many countries shall be overthrown, but these shall escape out of his hand, even Edom and Moab, and the chief of the children of Ammon. There they go again, working in cahoots. They always do. Now, I want you to go to Psalms chapter 108. Psalms chapter 108, and we're going to go to verse 9. Psalms chapter 108, and we're going to read verse 9. This is the part I really want you to pay attention to. And I'm going to read this slow. Moab is my wash pot. Who is the author of Psalms? It's King David. King David has them in rulership right now. What is your wash pot? The wash pot is where you clean your clothes, and all the dirt and filth and grime is what's left remaining in the water. Do you see how King David is referring to Moab as dirt, as filth? Over Edom, I will cast out my shoe. If you don't know what that means, it means when it comes to the nation of Edom, I'm going to put my boot to their ass. Over Philistia, will I triumph. So what is this talking about right here when it comes to Edom, Moab, and Ammon? What is it talking about? It's talking about rulership over them. So why in the world is this COVID-19 now beginning to attack the tribe of Judah? Because this prophecy is being fulfilled. And the children of Ammon, the Edomites, and the Moabites, they always work hand in hand. And now they're coming after Judah. I'm telling y'all, that whole freaking story of Sodom and Gomorrah, that's for you. That's for you, Israel. Showing and exposing who these people actually are. Do you still think that this whole COVID-19 pandemic is a joke? No. So now let's go ahead and back up a little bit here. Let's back up a bit. Remember when the angels got to Lot's house, what did he serve them? He served them unleavened bread. Why? Was there not an exodus out of the city of Sodom and Gomorrah? Yes. What was that a precursor to? It was a precursor to the Passover. Now remember, Jacob is not born yet. Israel is not born yet. So again, this is the trailer to a Passover. The Most High was already laying the foundation of rulership for Israel. What happened here? The daughters went ahead and laid with their father, that evil, disgusting, nasty spirit. Now, do you understand why Lot went ahead and gave up his daughters? Do you get it now? Why he said, go ahead, take my daughters. It was a write-off. Take them. Because they're evil, nasty, disgusting spirits. And Lot already knew that. Did you also notice how Lot did not mourn over the death of his wife? Why? Because that evil, nasty, rebellious spirit. Lot already knew what was up. Nobody ever gets that part. I haven't seen anybody ever mention that part there where Lot was like, yo, take my daughters, yo, go ahead. He wrote them out. He wrote them off like a bad damn check. He said, take them. But these men, these two angels, we ain't touching them. Because Lot was a righteous man, Israel. He was a righteous man. Excuse me. And he said, I would much rather my daughters die Let them do whatever they want to do with them before you touch any of these two up in here. But now, as you see, as we went through this here, right? And it talked about the rulership. Now we have to go ahead and seal that up. I want you to go to 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel, Old Testament. And we are going to go to chapter 8. Okay? I'm going to read verse 1. And after this, it came to pass that David, King David, smote the Philistines and subdued them. Subdue. Now we got to get the definition of subdue. And some of you may be annoyed that I do this, but I'm sorry. You're just going to have to deal with it because a lot of people are not up on their vocabulary. A lot of people don't know what these words mean. And we cannot go without being able to explain this. Subdue definition: overcome, quieten, or bring under control a feeling or person. Let's go back and read that. And after this, it came to pass that David smote the Philistines and subdued them, overcame them, overruled them. And David took Methgamah out of the hand of the Philistines. So he's going and claiming what's his. And he smote Moab and measured them with a line, casting them down to the ground. Even with 2 lines measured he to put to death, and with 1 full line to keep alive. And so the Moabites became David's servants and brought gifts. Israel, do you see what this is all about? It all comes right back to the same thing. These other nations going into slavery. That is why Moab hates us today. That is why Edom hates us today. But all of that right there are in the book of Genesis chapter 19. Genesis chapter 19. That is what the story of Sodom and Gomorrah is all about. What the Christian churches do, they focus on the physical versus the spiritual. Why? Because with the physical, they can sit there and be like, oh, gross, hey, gay sex, nasty, gross, and get you going on that, versus showing you exactly what the entire story of Sodom and Gomorrah is about. The entire story of Sodom and Gomorrah is the raise of our rulership. And it shows exactly who it is. Why the Most High created Moab and Ammon. That's just the beginning. He created them to be our servants. Issue, there it is. You don't have, that's the part that just annoys me when it comes to these Christian churches or whatever, because like I said, they focus on the physical. They will not teach our people with this in-depth information here because they can't. Israel, it's always going to come back to us and rulership. Always, always, always. There is no getting around this. And like I said last week, it always sounds like we go over the same scriptures over and over, but it's not. We didn't read any scriptures from last week, and it all came right back around to the same conclusion. Now, this is talking about Moab and Ammon. The Chinese and the Japanese are going to be our slaves. That is not racism. That is simply scripture. And they can get mad all they want to. Any one of you out there, you can get mad all you want to. Hey, if you have a problem, take it up with the Most High. These are his scriptures. This is what it says. So now you see why this whole COVID-19 pandemic is actually making its rounds right now. But the Most High went ahead and played them for a fool because he turned it around on them. Do you see how much God loves us, Israel? Do you see that? Do you see how much he loves you? Turn that thing right around on him. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. And we have so many of our people that got the nerve to disrespect the Most High. The two son-in-laws to mock him. Oh, you Israelites, y'all niggas, y'all talk about that all the time. He ain't come back yet. They were saying the very same thing in Genesis 6. And the Most High went ahead and brought that down. Brought the water on them. Then chapter 19, Genesis. The sons-in-law mocked the Most High. Left them right there in that city to be burned up. Make sure that you, Israel, don't get burned up. This is what we need to be teaching our children, our co-workers, our neighbors, sons, daughters, mothers, doesn't matter. We are to be teaching each other this word, Israel. Because as you clearly see, the world ain't playing with us, but we can't play with them either. And we can't focus on them, though. We can't. How do we correct all of our issues? By keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. Why? Because the Most High went ahead from the very beginning and started establishing our kingdom and started creating our servants and handmaids right there, buried inside of Genesis chapter 19. And it was all done for you. See that? I'm knocking stuff down. I told y'all this word get me hype. I had to knock my microphone down. Israel, this is all about us. This is why I'm telling y'all every morning. You wake up and you give the Most High his praise. Because he created you to be a king and a queen and a prince and a princess. And he created a kingdom for us. That's love of a father. And there we have it. And y'all better be proud of who you are. Royalty walking the earth. And these other nations, I tell you all the time, these other nations know who we are. Us blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They know who we are. They know the end results of all of this. And while they can, they're going to try to make our lives a living hell. But no guns, no violence, just commandments. That's all it takes. All right? So Israel, I am so glad that we were able to get through this lesson. I was really waiting on this one too. But every time I wanted to do it, the Most High was like, it's not the right time. Not yet. Not yet. I'll let you know. And here we are. Here we are. And now, when I wanted to do this, this was prior to all of this COVID-19 stuff. So now I know exactly why he told me to wait. He said, don't do it yet. Because there was plenty of time. I even recorded one. And it didn't come out the way that it was supposed to. It was supposed to have been done now. All praises to the Most High God. All praises to the Father. All right, now Israel. Again, when y'all see each other out there, I want you to grab a neck, hug your brothers and sisters, tell them you love them. Tell your kids you love them. You kids, tell your parents that you love them. And thank you. Tell them thank you for all the things that you've done. If you got clothes on your back, food in your stomach, you better tell them thank you. And even if you don't live with your parents now, you better call them and tell them, you know what? Yo, thank you for everything that you've done for me. Seriously. Give reverence to your king and your queen. And you kings and queens, give reverence to your prince and princesses. Do it. Because we're royalty. And y'all gotta understand that. I'm gonna make sure that I kill myself trying to make sure that you understand who you are. Your royalty. You're gods. And being gods, you have a responsibility. And that responsibility is carrying out the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God so that can be reflected on the world. And they can actually see how royal you really are. All right? Now, Israel, I really love you guys. And again, if y'all have any questions, y'all already know how to reach me. Many of you have been this past week, and I tell you thank you. Reach out to me. Ask any questions that you have. That's what I'm here for. All right? And with that being said, Israel, I love y'all. I'm out.